All right. Um, am I audible? Can everybody hear me? Testing one, two, three. If y'all can hear me in the chat, if you would let me know. Turn that up a little bit. Awesome. Thank you so much. Um, well, thank you all for being here uh, and joining me this evening for a very impromptu State of the Union. And thanks for stopping by with such little notice. Um, we've been pretty quiet since Prague Power. Uh, I know, and a lot of uh, a lot of stuff has been happening, and just thought it would be good to give you guys kind of an update of where everything is, what's going to be happening going forward, and I wanted to be able to give you guys the chance to, if you have any questions for me about anything, um, to answer that. We are trying to make an effort to be better about, um, content and updates and everything. I am infamous for how bad I am at social media and promotion and all these other things. Uh, so we're trying to do a little bit better, let you guys know what's going on. So the good things. This past year, the Forget Me Not tour was a lot of fun. Um, got to meet some amazing people at every show, and got to play some new places we'd never been before. And all the club owners were happy with us, and uh, several of them were like, "Hey, let us know when you're coming back." So we're definitely going to come back around, and we are planning a tour for next year. We're going to go out in August, and we'll be out for about 2 weeks there. We're trying to work out a short run uh, thing in the spring as well as the summer, but some details kind of fell through. So on that, so we're kind of trying to go with some backup plan stuff. So as soon as we get some of that stuff nailed down, we'll let you know. If you've been following our social media, you know that our bass player Cliff, who's been with me for over a decade, has decided to step down, which we completely understand, completely support. Um, he's been doing this stuff for a very, very long time, and he's got to be thinking about his retirement, his family, his future, all that kind of stuff. So we're very grateful to Cliff for everything he's given to us, and you know, moving forward, obviously, we need to begin the search for a bass player, um, which will have some audition information up about that kind of thing. Because we're all sort of spread out. Um, James lives about 3 hours almost away from me, and Nick lives about 8 hours away from me in another state, and so we're pretty spread out. So this isn't something that I need somebody that's close by me or anything like that. So we're going to kind of put out an all call if anybody wants to get in on it. That'd be that'd be wonderful. So we'll put up audition information about that very soon. Um, so Prague Power was an amazing experience. I'll be honest, when we took the stage, I was expecting there to be like 8 people there, because I didn't see the crowd start gathering. We were there for sound check, which we didn't exactly get to do, but that wasn't anybody's fault at Prague Power or anything. Just how it happens sometimes. And the curtain was closed, and we were all in this backstage area, so we couldn't see anything. And so when we came out and they parted the curtain and we saw a ton of people, we were pretty stoked that so many people were there early for some no name band like us. And it was a very gratifying experience. It was very emotional. Um, Metal Injection wrote about how there wasn't a dry eye in the house and everything, and we were really pleased to get a superlative. Um, like I think they said it was like the most heart wrenching set in the history of the fest or something like that. And I mean, we're really proud of that and glad to have connected with people. Um, and it was it got very quiet. I had told James before we even took the stage. I said, my goal is I want to see, could we get a festival crowd that is definitely not there to see us? Could we get them to be quiet by the end? Because at the end of the oubliette set, it gets, I know, surprising for the Reticent. It gets kind of emotional. It gets kind of heavy. And I let go of a lot of emotion. I was in tears and um, thinking about the fact that my father had been in that very building before. He used to do some stuff in Atlanta for his job and stuff, and he went to some shows there, and made me think about, like, man, how cool he would have thought that we were playing there. And so when we got to the last song, which fun fact, we didn't know we were going to play until we were setting up to actually start. The guy that booked us came over and said, "Hey, do you guys want to start like 10, 15 minutes early? And you can just throw another song in there." And I said, "Well, we kind of have everything is like set up with this movie and all this stuff. We can't really do that. We had something else. We were actually going to play The Nightmare, but I said we don't have that set up here. And we didn't rehearse it." He said, "Well, if you want to." So we threw in "Losing My Religion" with no rehearsal because we weren't going to play it. And so we closed the set with the REM cover, um, kind of on a whim, and literally did that as we were putting guitars on, and they're hooking up all the stuff and getting ready, and we're just kind of spur of the moment gonna go out there and okay, I guess at Prog Power we're just gonna do something out there. Um, so no movie with it, no click track, no reference, no nothing, just us. And but a lot of people said that was very moving and uh, all that. So uh, I was really glad that we got to do that. So, and I got to meet a lot of amazing people um, that were there that had heard of us. That people came up to me that said they've been listening to the Reticent going all the way back to like Latam and stuff, and had the CDs to prove it. And we're like, "Oh, I'm from Brazil," or "I'm from wherever," and it was just it was a humbling thing and a moving experience. And um, when we finished the set, I mean, you really could hear a pin drop. It got so quiet. Um, I could hear my breath in the monitor, and it was just a very, very cool moment to have hundreds of people all there with us in that moment. So we were just stoked and grateful that they had us, and a lot of the people that worked there said they thought it was, a fantastic set and all this stuff, and you guys will definitely come back and whatever. Um, so I don't know if we'll come back or not, but I hope we will one day. James's band No Spoon is going to be playing there next year, which is awesome. And so it was a lot of those were big victories for us just to get the chance to do all that, and sold out of copies of the oubliette that we had and all that stuff, and very, very positive things on that front. Um, so if I'm gonna be honest, the albums should have been done by now, and I started talking about them in 2022. We actually started recording in 2022, and the reason they haven't been finished is 100% my fault. And I wanted to give an explanation to people that really liked oubliette and stuff, or like, when's the next thing coming out and all that stuff. And since that is my fault, um, I'm going to offer you what's happened. Um, so we recorded the drums last November. We recorded all the drums for both records in one day, and the it was very exhausting because it was like 12 and a half hours of just grinding through. And Jamie was a trooper, and you know, by the end of it, no kidding, no kidding. You can ask James because he was there. At the end of the day, I literally walked out from behind the kit and I just flopped onto the ground and just laid on the ground for a while as we played it because um, some of these songs, it's I don't do a lot of the crazy, you know, like my friend Josh Warder can do like 300 BPM and just does it like it's nothing. But I was doing a lot of moving around the kit that I haven't really done before, um, to that degree for that long, and it was just really wearing me out. It was just I really made probably the most use of my kit that I've ever used, on a record. So, you know, it's, it seemed like we were making some progress, and then through December, um, into January, I tracked all the guitars. So, all the rhythm guitars, most of James' leads were done, acoustics, uh, oud, other stuff like that, and we were coming up on February 3rd, and the reason that's important is because the, uh the reason there's 2 albums is because I was writing one, then my father died, and I I just couldn't write for that anymore. So I just stopped writing for it. So I got through 6 songs that I think are a complete idea, and then I shifted immediately to needing to write about losing the most important man in my life. I was very, very close to my father, and it's it's a thing I'm reminded about every single day. Um, I never am not missing him. I'm never not thinking about him, wanting to share something with him. I mean, I would trade like all the gear, everything I have, I'd give it all. If I could hear him laugh one more time, I'd give up all of this. Um, so since I have never known life without him, his death has affected me more profoundly than any other I've had. And I know if you've followed me for a while, I've written about death and loss before, but that that hit me harder. And so I became consumed with his death, and I didn't want to live anymore, to be honest. Forget about making albums. I didn't make any music for 2 months. Um, I didn't want to do anything. I was ready to go, and I had made some decisions that that's what was going to happen. But oddly enough, I heard a song that when I got back in the car felt like my father was speaking to me, and um, you know, it was just it was enough to kind of keep me going, and that helped a lot. And from there, I resolved to write this grief album, and it's I'm calling it "Don't Go" for right now. And the uh, the impetus of it was just focusing on 5 stages of grief. I'm aware that's an antiquated thing. There's, like, now there's 7 or 8, and not everybody goes through them all, I know, but I really felt connected to those 5, denial and, um, anger, bargaining, despair, and, acceptance, which I'm working on, and I've made a lot of progress. But, I had decided that despair was going to be recorded in a different way than all the others. The drums were recorded at Jamie's place, but I was going to record um, the vocals for Despair at 5 in the morning on February 3rd of 2023, which I did. That is a year to the hour that we got the call that he was gone, because we had to pull the plug on him and then just sit there watching him struggle for breath for days. Um, so we got the call at 5 in the morning that he was gone. And that moment in time, I wanted to be there, to feel it in its entirety and not run from it. And so I recorded the vocals actually in in his bedroom, in the closet of his bedroom, and his suits, his clothes were still on either side of me, and I put up pictures of him, and I closed the door and locked it, and I had a rough idea of some things I would say. I had, like, a chorus for it that I recorded, but everything else, I was just going to hit record, and I was just going to kind of free associate and just let everything out. And, um, that's what I did, and some of my friends thought it wasn't a good idea. Some thought it was a beautiful idea, and, James and my best friend Sean, waited outside while I recorded, and the idea was if I don't come out by 6 a.m., they were gonna come in and check on me. So right about 6 a.m., I came back out, and I'm just disheveled and all sorts of things. I By the time the song was over, I was on the floor. I was not facing the mic anymore, and actually, this mic is the one I used. And, I still have not listened to Despair. I played it for them. I sent it to Jamie. Um, he said he thinks that may be the most heartbreaking thing he's ever heard, um, and realized he produced my last 2 records, so I guess that says something. Um, but, so if we were kinda making progress, and I'd wanted to finish everything before February 3rd, but then after that, I had to start getting ready for the tour in April, and, um, a lot of stuff kinda got out from under me, and then I had to deal with, the fallout of, divorce, which, if any of you guys have been there, know it's a long process, and it's a costly process, and I ended up losing, um, all my savings. Um, I was able to keep my home, but, it cost a lot, and it hurt a lot because I was starting to face some things that I had not wanted to face with that stuff, and, um work on an album about that has already started. I was actually talking to Jamie about that earlier today. Um, he was telling me how he's looking forward to the divorce album. Um, but so what happened from there is I kind of just hit a low point and wasn't taking care of myself. Wasn't much good to anybody. And Prog Power was a big pick me up, and we got to do some shows with Cynic and Atheist, which were awesome. And the night after we played together, Kelly from Atheist played the next show. He was wearing a Reticent shirt on stage. Someone sent me a photo, and I was like, man, that's really cool of him. Um, and getting the chance to actually talk to Paul, and getting to connect with him and stuff, both there and at Prog Power, and since, is just one of the most beautiful human beings you could ever meet. I just I admire him a great deal, and so that helped kind of get me through, and getting back to, if you don't know my day job, I'm a teacher, and that helped me get through, and I I kept saying to myself, I'm gonna restart. I'm gonna get going again, and the reason I didn't, very honestly, is I began to just sort of psych myself out. Um, I started to think that none of these songs were good enough, um, and because I was so limited on money, because I lost so much, I I'm engineering the record myself. Jamie recorded the drums, but I'm gonna record everything else, and I'm doing it here in my studio, which isn't as good as his. Um, but he feels very confident that we're gonna be able to pull it all off. But this is the first time I've done something this scale by myself, um, And there have been times, like I said, when we were doing the guitars, James was kind of tag teaming with me a little bit, which was helpful. But as I've switched to bass or vocals or any of this other stuff, it's me by myself, and like I have to record it, I have to go perform, I have to come back, and all this stuff, and I don't have the best setup to make all that stuff happen, and it's frustrating and stressful, and in some ways that can help um, keep me in this frenzied state, but in other ways, it's distracting. So, um, I got really in my head about it, and if you don't know, every Reticent album, especially Eve and Oubliette, both of them I was convinced were gonna be terrible and that no one will like it and we need to cancel it. Um, I still have the email where I had, sent to Jamie and, Jeremy Golden at Heaven Hill Records and said, "You know what, forget it. This, no one's gonna like this. This is just gonna be terrible. Just cancel it. I'm sorry that we even did it." And, I know we're not like a thing, like Reticent's not somebody, but, there are some people that Eve connected with and Oubliette connected with, but, this is kinda par for the course. I don't ever really think it's good enough, so it's hard for me to judge, and this stuff is I'm so close to it, I can't tell if it's good, and, somebody on, uh one of our socials said like, "Oh, I'm already reserving a space in the top 5 when the new albums come out," and I was like, "Man, what if it's not good? What if you don't like it?" Because what I'm writing is what I need to write. Um, they're not, they're not, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know how to market to people, I don't know what you are looking for. What do you like? What do you want? Um I kind of write in this shell. That's why I'm absolutely positive that I've probably written some song or some riff or something like that, and it's, "Oh, that's this band," and, I had no idea, you know, um, because I kinda get in this microcosm, and I'm just thinking about what is the emotion I'm trying to get across, or what do I need to say, or whatever, and I'm just playing, and that's it. Um, so I, considered abandoning the records, completely, actually, which I did talk to James about, talk to Jamie about, and my friend Brian Kingsland. He was in a band called Nile, um, and he's in a band, from, what is it called? I'm dropping Imperishable. He's got something called Imperishable, which is, fantastic. And that album's gonna be coming out, I think, next year, so definitely check that out. But, they helped give me some perspective, and, I tried to, get some help from my mind and stuff like that, and kinda got back on track, and so I can now tell you that, I am tracking again, um, and actually completed a song called "The Bed of Wasps," yesterday, which is, without a doubt, like, the heaviest, most aggressive, most intense thing that I've ever put with this project. So if you like the heavier stuff, if you like the aggressive stuff, um, Bed of Wasps is gonna be it. If you know what a panic attack feels like, that's actually what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to represent what that feels like. And, on that token, and I know I'm kinda going on and on here, but on that token, the original album I was working on, I'm just calling Please, was, rather than being a story, is just, it's the disorders I have. It's things I live with. So, what it's like to have to kinda conceal your, if you have a disorder or depression or this, that, the other thing, when you go to work, you go to any place, you can't really let that be seen. Um, I have bad insomnia. That's another one. Panic attacks. What it's like for if you've ever had that, you've probably had someone just say, "Well, just cheer up," or just go, "Oh, you like this? Just go do that." And if you've had depression or you've had it, a bipolar 2 or anxiety disorder, or any of these things where you're kind of just fighting a war in your head, um, people kind of confuse that with you're just sad, or oh man, I understand. I lost my job before. I've been divorced before. Or this, and those are bad events, but we kind of move past them because they're a change in homeostasis. Um, with depression and all these other things, what's different about it is that it's you're inoculated against joy. And I know this thing over here, like this drink or this other thing, is I really like this, and this is a good thing. I know I should like this, or it's a piece of food. I know I should enjoy this, but I don't. Or you're out with your friends or something like that, and I know I should be having a good time, but I'm not having a good time. Um, and it's not that you suddenly dislike all that stuff. It's just not giving you what you need. Um, so that song is about people's outside perspective on these disorders and how they misunderstand them. Um, then there's a song about kind of the empty, hollow feeling of what depression feels like. I call it the riptide, where it's just you kind of drowning, but it's like it's just pulling you really slowly. It's not some dramatic thing. It's almost calm and empty. And then the final song is something just nicknamed "The Chance." And there were going to be other songs on Please, but it got interrupted, obviously, by my father's death, and it just doesn't feel right to go back and try to add more to that. Um, so it's a little incomplete, I guess you could say, in a way, but in another way, it isn't. I mean, these things are chronicling my life, and so these are two records about daily life and what the loss felt like. So, um, I'm back to work on them. I have no guarantee when they're gonna be done or when they're gonna come out, but I'm not giving up on them. I'm gonna finish them. As I said, I'm tracking now and, knocking out bass. My bass is back there. Um, Actually, I have to get out of the way so you can see, even though you probably can't, but yeah. Um, and I my eyesight kinda sucks, and the screen's a little further away from me, so I see a lot of the chat. I will if any of you have asked me something or said something, I'm gonna read every single one. But just, I didn't wanna forget anything, so that's why I'm kinda rapid fire right now. So do forgive me if you felt like I'm ignoring you, and I'm not, I promise. So, um, what we're gonna do is, the good news is with these both being, comparatively shorter albums, they're around like 40 something minutes apiece. Um, what that does mean is that each of them we're gonna angle for getting both of them a vinyl release, as well. So I know people have asked for that for years. I know that's been a big thing for Oubliette, and just unfortunately with how long Oubliette is, we'd have to do a double album, and it's just really expensive. But when these two are done, however we release them, you know, we're gonna do vinyl for it. We're gonna do the whole thing. Um, and I'll do everything I can to make all that stuff happen. Um, my my friend and producer Jamie King has advised maybe shopping the album around a little bit, getting some label support. If you followed me for a while, you know that almost all the albums I've done have been on Heaven Hell Records. We had a bit of a falling out. Um, can't really tell you what happened because I never actually talked to them. Um, but got kind of angry and offended at something, and we just kind of unceremoniously cut ties. So that is, that is that. So we'll we'll see what happens next, so to speak. Um, but the goal right now is just get the albums done, and then we'll we'll see if there's any interest. Um, if not, I'm just gonna put them out by myself, just independently. Um, I don't know if we'll do one album, wait a little bit, then do the next one. If do them both as some sort of double album, something like that. I don't know yet. Um, we'll kind of see. And but yeah, we'll do it upright. Um, and try to make it as impactful as we can. Uh, so prior to that, if you come see us next year, we are going to be playing some of the new material live. I know if you saw us last year at all, whether on tour or at Prog Power or anything, we did play a song called "The Concealment," which is off of "Please." So you've heard a taste of kind of things to come, and so yeah, that's kind of where all that stands. Um, so right now, the big focus is going to be finishing up the records, getting everything squared away with the tour next year, finding a new bass player, and I think we also need a keyboard player because I played a lot of piano on "Don't Go." So I'm gonna, if any of you are piano players, you know, send us a message. Um, and yeah, that's what all that is. Um, so outside of all that, we did lose access. If any of you follow us on Instagram, we've lost access to it. And you may have noticed, like, I guess like 80 some odd of you may have noticed that we have something called now at the Reticent band. Um, and that's what Instagram we have now. Made multiple attempts to try to get Meta or somebody to help us out, but I'm not photogenic and I don't like pictures of myself. So I don't put up a lot of photos on our thing. So when I tried to use uh, pictures of me to verify that it was me, um, they're like, "Well, no, that doesn't work." And so like we're just kind of locked out of it. And it wasn't hacked or anything. I just my phone got screwed up. Had to get a different one, and it somehow set up two-factor authentication I didn't set up, and now it's locked everybody out of everything. So, uh, that sucks. Um, but, if you do know anybody, please please, let them know that we're not active on that other one for now. Um, but anyway, so last thing, as we're trying to finalize where to go on the road, I'm afraid we gotta limit it to the continental United States 'cause, uh, I'm broke. But, if I win the lottery, we'll definitely get out somewhere. Um, I'd love to try to see if we can't play Prague Power in Europe. That'd be pretty fun, but I think we have to be asked to do that. But, so, um, I think that's everything. I am gonna be playing some shows. I'm singing for a new band. It's not a new band, but I'm new to the band called Solaris, which is a kind of a contortionist style prog. Um, so I've been enjoying working with those guys, and we're gonna play some shows. Starting actually next month, next 2 months actually, and next year, like once I'm finished with all this stuff, I'll start recording with them, and that'll be pretty cool. So, anyway, um, wow, that's a lot of stuff y'all said. So, um, I appreciate all of you very, very much. Um, so, um, so have you, Spread the gospel. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, if just tell people to, when promoters say, "Who do you want to see?" Like, tell them to let them know that we exist. Um, and that's a big thing. So, um, I'm trying to see. So, if you guys have questions about anything, like about the band, me, anything that I can answer, um, you just put it in the chat. I'll be glad to answer it if I can. Um, so I'm trying to I'm like scanning for question marks here. Let's see. When is Zeromus making a comeback? So, um, Zeromus, if you don't know, Zeromus is this black metal side project I have that's actually rather than based on lore like you know satanic stuff and all like a lot of black metal bands that I grew up listening to and enjoyed. I based it off of like Final Fantasy lore, and wrote songs about different evil characters from it. So um, it's very kind of just straightforward like Marduk style stuff. Which I have an EP written, and I meant to record it a long time ago and just haven't, but I might do that at some point. Um, let's see. Keyboards, you say yes. Um, it would be helpful to have a keyboard player. So if you or someone you know would be good. Um, let's see. Alright, let's see. Is the new band you joined on Spotify? I may have misspelled it. Yeah. So Solaris is on Spotify. My voice is somewhat different than their old singer, but it is spelled Celaris. Um, and yeah, I'm pretty sure they're on Spotify. They're at least on YouTube. Um, so yeah. Let's see. Um, would you ever in the future come out with a box set of all the albums? Um, if people wanted it, I'd be glad to if I have the money. Like I said, if I win the lottery, I'll buy a little bus and we'll just go out and play shows and I'll give everybody anything they wanted. Um, if I win the lottery, all resident shows will be free. Um, it'd just be, hey, just come share with us. Um, I have so I have masters for some of the albums, but actually not all of them. The very first one, technically the gray one, uh, which is "Hymns for the Dejected," that was just recorded in my bedroom with a small Tascam Porta Studio, little 8-track thing, and it was also like burned from there. I just burned it onto a little CDR from that unit. It never was on a computer. It was never mixed or mastered professionally. It was just me manipulating stuff the best I could with some headphones. I didn't even have speakers. Um, so like I don't know that one would be um, worth including, or maybe it would be. Maybe some people like it. I don't know. I know it's not very good because it was. I mean, I was trying it for the first time, but I do want to do a second pressing of the of Eve and Oubliette, um, especially just because. Well, for one thing, with Eve, there were some misspellings and some incorrect things in the printing, which is totally my fault. I missed it and stuff like that. Um, and Oubliette was beautiful, was flawless. Chris Ferguson did an amazing job with the layout and everything, but unfortunately, all that stuff, the layout of that CD is technically owned by Heaven and Hell Records. So I would have to get with putting Oubliette back out. I'll have to do a complete redesign. Um, which by the way, like Chris Ferguson, totally stand up dude, like great guy. Um, there's no like bad blood there. It's just that's just how it is. You know what I mean? Um, so, but what we're going to do for both of those is we'll put out a double CD with those. That's the goal. And I want to, have the album and then, uh, see if I can scrounge up any demo tracks, but maybe the other one can be just a uh, commentary, something like that, just kinda talking about different things like, "Hey, did you notice that this little theme shows up here?" Or, "Here's what this is supposed to be," or whatever. Um, so after we do that kinda thing, I think it'd be cool to, if somebody was willing to help pay for it or crowdfund it or whatever, like, we could do some big box set of everything. Maybe we can get some, I never remembered to try to get live footage of us or live audio of us. Um, so maybe we could do something special for that if there was interest. So if somebody would like it, I will make it happen. Let's see. Uh, would you future come up about said? Are you influenced by oath path? I hear a lot of it in your music. So funny thing. Um, I don't listen to Opeth as much as it probably seems like I should. Um, I know we sound very, very similar, but and his voice is definitely my range, and we've leaned into that just by we'll cover them. Um, I haven't even actually listened to the last 2 records. To be honest. Um, it's it's really good stuff. I really, I do like a lot of Opeth stuff. I think it's fabulous. I mean, if you like the stuff I do, I mean, obviously you're gonna love what they do because they do it way better. But it's um, it's not as much as people think. My biggest influence, oddly enough, is Neurosis. Um, I have loved that band since 1995. Um, but I would just try to when I would write a lot of the stuff, I would try to find something that worked, and I'm not a great guitar player. I'm not a great anything, so I was kinda limited by what I knew and what I could play, and a lot of that stuff I would just happen upon things. Like, I did write a song once that was, like, straight up, like, no kidding, it was exactly note for note some Opeth song, and I was so mad because I hadn't heard it yet. It, like, came out on something, uh like Ghost Reveries or something, and I heard some riff, and I was like, "God damn it!" Like, I was so upset, because I came up with this cool riff, and I was so happy, and but that's how it is. But Opeth did encourage me to notice there is a market for you know music that can be heavy and pretty and all that kind of stuff. But oddly enough, like the bigger influence on me on that first album even was like Steve Von Till, his acoustic stuff again from Neurosis. That's actually what prompted me to wanna write acoustic stuff because I was in extreme metal bands at the time, um, and what's kinda interesting, um, is that, Steve Von Till came out with that thing, and then, was it Damnation? I think Damnation. Like, Opeth put out that acoustic only album, um, which was kind of a thing, right? I mean, that was a kind of a thing because another wonderful, fabulous band that I love is Borknagar, and they did Origin, which was acoustic, you know, and, there were a couple bands that did, like, acoustic albums in those early 2000s, um, and so it was just kind of like a happenstance thing, but, like, the Neurosis as a concept influences me the most. um, I can't write like they do. I've tried. um, they're just inhumanly patient and nobody sounded like them, and I really liked that. And I hate that everything that happened with Scott Kelly, um, broke my freaking heart. Um, but anyway, yeah. So um, there's no doubt that like some Opeth has like gotten into my subconscious somewhere because it definitely was listening to them, as a young man. But I don't know. I, I I know that we sound a lot like him. I know that I can sing like him, and so we cover them. Um, so if you've seen us live, we've done Sorceress or Drapery Falls or something like that. But maybe we'll just start a cover band and I can make some money. But um, yeah, so there that is. Let me see. Any Ohio shows planned? That's the plan. We wanna play Ohio again. Had a good time out there last time, and, a friend of mine, uh, Scott Pletcher, who played in, God almighty, Dark Moon, Demonic Christ, Werewolf before I was in Werewolf, Shrine of Suffering, I think he's in a is it Nor? I can't remember the name of his new band or whatever, um, but he's out there, and, as is my other, Werewolf bandmate, Art Taylor, who plays not Acheron anymore, it's Vincent Crowley, so definitely wanna come back out there, would love to do Florida. We've been asked about that a few times. That is on the docket. We want to get out there. We're going to try our best to do all that stuff. Let me see. Thank you very much, Bridget, for the very kind words. Um, let's see. Guitar question: do you compose the solos that were, unless I'm mistaken, not tracked by you on the ooglet? Were they improvised? Just think they serve the song so well, so to speak. So sometimes leads are composed by me. Sometimes they're composed by James. If they have a lot of flash and great technique, it's James. Um, but there's a lot of like on, for instance, on "Don't Go," James wrote a fabulous solo for Acceptance Overture. Um, but there are things that I'll say like, "Can you start with this melody? Can you know, develop this idea?" Or something like that, and I'm not telling him what to play, it's more just giving him, like, "Here's this motive that I've created somewhere else in the song or somewhere else on the album. You take that and run with it a little bit." Um, but he's just got just such a natural ear. I mean, it's very rare that I'm saying something like, "Oh, do something different," or whatever. Um So, if it's a very straightforward melody, if it feels like something somebody would sing, it's probably something it's likely that that's something that was written for the song, um, and, James's talent is taking a melody or a motive and developing it in such a way to where it still serves the song very well, but it becomes his own thing. You can see such a difference from when he came on board and started playing those solos, um and now he's added all sorts of little touches now beyond just little solos. He'll just add some flair to stuff. So I think he helps take what I come up with to another level and then put his own spin on it. So let's see. Vortex. Yes, if you don't know, ICS Vortex is my favorite vocalist. And funny enough, I did some guest cleans on a band called Paradogmata out of Norway, and, a guy named Paul McBride from a band called Vorath here in the States, um, nicknamed me WNC Vortex, because I can, I do some of those things. If you follow my personal Facebook thing, I put up little Vortex covers every now and then, and, I just always admired his voice, I always loved how beautiful it is, and, so Paul called me that, and I would just jokingly say things like, just, uh, yeah, that's me, WNC Vortex, because I guess Western North Carolina Vortex, I don't know what it stood for, but, at any rate, uh, when they put out the record, they sent it to me, and what's funny is that they actually called me Chris WNC Vortex Hathcock on the liner notes, um, which I thought was kinda crazy that a Norwegian band would refer to me that way, so, um, but yeah, fun fun times. Have any metal from here in Europe influenced you in any way? Um, yeah, well, I mean, obviously, anything that Vortex has been in, Arcturus, I think, is one of the best bands that nobody talks about, along with Borknagar, and for the record, I think Venersor did an amazing job with them, um, but just, fabulous, music. Um, it probably doesn't come through on stuff except for, like, uh Nightmare or something like that, but I love black metal. Um, and, they're just, and kind of almost from all kind of walks. I mean, like I like a lot of Mayhem and Dark Throne, like old stuff, and Emperor, and but I mean, there are some modern ones that I like, Now Rock and Carrick Angren. Although I didn't so much care for that last record, to be honest. Um, but things like Marduk, stuff like that. Um, yeah, just that had a big impact on me. That was a big revelation to hear, and I loved the raw kind of quality to it. And I don't necessarily mean like the lo-fi quality of the recordings. I mean just kind of the passion in it, that you could feel. Um, it really spoke to me quite a bit. Um, but yeah, definitely, like, I mean, I can listen to Bortnagar and Arcturus like any day of the week at any time. I'm happy to listen to them for sure. So yeah, 100%. Some metal from Europe has definitely crept its way into me. If I were a better singer, I would I would try some of that acrobatic stuff that Vortex does. But yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Uh, straight. Not like what they were doing lately. Oh well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Eric, for the kind words. From my own curiosity, are there any plans to play Oubliette from front to back? I need another guitarist, like a third guitarist or a keyboard player, to do that. I'd like us to do it, and maybe we'll do that for like a fifth year anniversary kind of thing when we do like the double album, or not double album, the double CD reissue. Um, because we didn't really do, because it happened like during the pandemic. We didn't really have like a CD release party or anything, and we didn't tour for it or anything. Like, we did nothing. So, um, yeah, yeah. I'm not opposed to it, but we'd need the personnel to be able to pull it off. Believe it or not, his name is Henry. Is harder than it seems, especially that the opening, to play and sing those hemiolas and syncopations over each other. Very, very challenging. So we'd need to kind of dig in to do that, but we can, you know, I'd like us to do like a full thing. We did something close to it, actually. We did everything but Henry. So we did stage 2 through 6 at a show once. So we did, yeah. So we did Palliative Breath, we did Dream, we did Nightmare, all that stuff. That's actually the only time that Dream was ever performed, was that one show. Um, and didn't go poorly. I think Dream is a cool song. Um, but yeah. If you had yeah, wait, yeah. If you had your choice of 3 bands you would want to tour with, what would be your dream lineup you would want to play with on stage each night? God, I wanna play with Cynic again. Um, as I said, I love Paul. At, Prague Power, we talked. I think he and I sat and talked, and no offense to them, of course. We talked the entire way through Swallow the Sunset because we were just sitting there talking about music, education, composition, all sorts of stuff. And I felt so bad because he had gotten his plate of dinner. They had food for us back there, and he had it just sitting down. He sat down next to me, and we just talked for like an hour. And it's just food just sat there, didn't even touch it. And then he finally did go eat, but I just love talking to them. I love their music. They put on just an amazing show. I mean, it's flawless. And talk about underrated guitar players, like, especially for leads, musical leads. Paul Masvidal does not come up near enough, near enough. Um, and you know, I'm just one of many fanboys. Uh, you know, but I mean, he's just a cool guy. He remembered who I was, remembered my name, and everything. and, when we've talked since then, so I definitely wanna play with Cynic again, anytime, any place, would love to do that, and, that's a band that we, like, mesh well with, like, just the vibe, I think, really did well because both times we've played with them, in 2 different states, their crowd and our crowd really, jived, so Cynic, 100%. I would love to play with The Contortionist, um the song "Early Grave" is a song that saved me because that is what I listened to at my lowest after my father died, and, that helped me a lot. I would love to just tell them thank you, and I know we have the same producer, so I can just send it by way of Jamie King, but I would love to play with them. I think that'd be a great thing, and, like, Dream, I would wanna play with Neurosis, like, circa 1999, um, right, post Times of Grace and Sun That Never Sets. I mean, man, it was just such a and their live show because I saw them back then, like, their live show was just amazing, and, you felt it, so that'd be a weird bill, if it was all 4 of us there, but, that's who I would want to do, and the Neurosis thing is selfishly, of course, but actually all of them are kinda selfish. So, um, but you did say it was, like, my dream lineup, so that's who I'd wanna play with. Um, Let me see. More reason to come to Arizona. I mean, we will do our best to get to Arizona. Um, I will try. We had at Prague Power, somebody was saying, "Can you please come to Texas?" And we're gonna do the best we can. Is that REM cover on YouTube? Uh, I don't know if my performance of it is on YouTube. I didn't take any footage. Um, I know there's like cell phone footage of stuff. I'm really self conscious, so I don't watch live clips of us. I get kind of super emotional when we play. So I know but I'm also like a perfectionist with stuff. So I know I'm going to hear myself getting out of pitch or something like that. And I know it's in the moment. And that's part of what makes it feel live, but I don't know. It's just a thing for me. So, the version of losing my religion I did on Latam Digital 2 is um, on YouTube, I know, and Spotify and everything else. So the studio version is there. But I'm sure, I don't know, somebody may have gotten it. I'm not sure if that's what you're meaning because you're saying that REM cover. So I don't know if you're referring to the one I did um, in Atlanta. I can see the band called Baroness. Yeah, no, Baroness is killer. Um, I mean, I'd be happy to play it with anybody. Where we played with all kinds of bands when we were on tour because it was just us, and the booking agent put all sorts of weird lineups together. So we played with like doom bands and noise bands and like rock bands and thrash bands and all sorts of stuff and death metal and it was real interesting and I kind of like that. I like eclectic stuff, so that's fun to me. Um, but yeah, Baroness is killer. Um, I don't know if they'd have us, but hey, I mean, I'd be game for sure. Uh, have you heard of Cine Tilly Sean's vocals together? Amazing. I have not heard that, Bridget. But I will look it up after we're done here. Can you list some of the bands you've mentioned or influenced by? Hard to keep track while I watch, but definitely want to check them out. Um, yeah, so Neurosis is a big influence. Steve Von Till, who's done a lot of solo stuff that was just acoustic uh, things. He is from Neurosis, so it's that same very kind of patient, um, almost process music style thing. But that had a huge influence on me in the beginning. I wanted to write like him, and that's where I got started. Um, Arcturus and Borknagar for sure. Um, Believe it or not, like old Metallica stuff. Like, I wouldn't have picked up instruments if it hadn't been for Master of Puppets and Justice for All. Um, those are just 2, huge influences on me. Um, but I'm also, I mean, like, all my years as a music educator, um, I've I mean, I've been influenced by a lot of other stuff that's not metal, like Miles Davis or, Howard Shore's music or, Beethoven, stuff like that, Stravinsky, Prokofiev, um, you know, uh, there's a lot of wonderful, wonderful music out there. Um, so and I mean, I get inspired, like I said, I can't remember what album it was, but Now Rock did an album a couple years ago, but just like out of the gate, like that opening track is like just absolutely shreds. I just love it to death, and it's just everything raw and wonderful I love about that genre. Um, for sure. Um, I think Emperor is another one. Um, I would love to be half the guitarist Ishan is. Um, but hey, I'm not, I don't really think of myself as a guitarist, oddly enough, because drums is what I played longest. I started that when I was a kid. I didn't start playing guitar till I was in college. Um, so yeah, but those are some of them. I'm sure I'm forgetting things. Believe it or not, Cynic was an influence on me as well, just because that made me do a double take. Um, so, uh, but hopefully that helps. So Cynic and Tampa, last focus. As I recall, said the week after Prague Power. Got a picture with him. That's awesome. You got to hang out with him. He's really cool. I haven't heard new Contortionist stuff. I'm meaning to, but I haven't. Let's see. Kevin, where are the clips be found? Okay, that's not for me. Just discovered your band last year. It was instantly hooked. Blood is one all-time favorite records. Oh, thank you very much, Jordan. I appreciate it. Um, have I begun writing a follow-up? Yeah. So Jordan, if when this is done, because I spent like the first 30 minutes going through exactly what's happening with the follow up to Oubliette. So there's 2 records. One's called Please. One's called Don't Go. Um, and you can find some information about that in this. So um, if hopefully it's okay, but um, you know, I'm just gonna recommend going back when this is done, and I think this is my first time doing it. I'm so bad at all this tech stuff, guys. As you can tell with, us getting locked out of Instagram and everything. I've never done a YouTube live stream before, so I hope this has not been bad. And I hope this hasn't been too awkward or anything. Um, but yeah, so I don't repeat myself too much. But the short answer, Jordan, is yes. 2 albums are in the works. I'm finishing tracking them right now. So, but thank you very much for checking it out and everything. Let's see. Uh, I will do that, Bridget. I will give them a listen. One of your future tours, bring you to Arizona. I, dude, I want to come. Um, we want to get out there, and we've had multiple people actually ask us to come to Texas and stuff like that. It's just a matter of getting there, having the time, the ability, the finances to be able to do that. Um, but you know, it'd be awesome to get out there and just like this past year, I'd love to just play some places we've never played before, um, and connect with people, and just have them share in the moments with us. We've talked about for next year, mixing up our last set was really Oubliette heavy. We thought about doing a short run where we're gonna bring back some stuff from Eve and mix in some of the new stuff, um, which we thought might be kind of neat for some people that liked Eve because we don't do a lot from that record. Um, obviously, since we're pushing oubliette. But yeah, there you go. Long time listener, can't wait. Thank you, Mr. Chavis. I appreciate you. Um, I'm gonna do my best, Bridget. We'll keep going. Let's see. What's the best place to stay updated with you guys? Um, so because I'm old and stupid, um, I use Facebook a lot just because that hasn't been tanked. Um, my friend has been trying to convince me to put stuff on um, TikTok and stuff like that. I do not have TikTok. I don't use it. Um, but we'll put some stuff on there eventually. So I'm gonna take some clips of some of the stuff I've been recording, and we'll put it up on TikTok. So that'll be the place to check out some of the first previews of new stuff, little things. Um, and hey, good night in Germany. Um, but yeah, that's Facebook is going to be the first one we post to, just because that one is we have the most security. We can't get locked out of that one. So we're trying to rebuild the Instagram thing. Um, I don't really like pictures, so Instagram's not like my favorite thing. Um, and we'll do the best we can. Um, you know, so but that's the best place to stay updated. Um, We actually on our website, we have like a mailing list thing. I don't think I've ever actually used it, but like if you download something from our stuff or maybe even to buy something, I think they have a mailing list. Um, I've gotten people to help me out before with like orders and other stuff like that. Maybe they've sent stuff, emailed stuff, but I don't think I have, or if I have, it has been a long, long time. Um, but yeah, and we'll try to put some stuff up here as well. So I'm going to do the very best I can to get all the bases covered. As I said, I've reached out to someone in their company to kind of help me do better about that kind of thing. So, um, would absolutely love Eve in Arizona. Hey, we'd be happy to bring it to you. Um, so we'll do our very best. Um, any 2XL Eve shirts in stock? No. I think of the original Eve run or the restock we have some mediums left. Or no, might have just smalls left. Um, so we are going to get some new merch next year. Wanted to get some more hoodies, or some new hoodies, but got to get them designed and all that kind of stuff first. But we'll get some new things. Well, let me ask all of you this: is there anything outside of the vinyl stuff, which you already have my word is coming with the new ones? Is there any kind of merch thing you would like? Is there anything that we can put together for you, like shirts or flags or posters or different stickers or something like that? It would help us because I wanna know, like, what you like, or if it was like, I want more white T-shirts or more this or that or the other thing, it would be super helpful. So if you can tell me what you would like, that would help. Let's see. Might get a shirt just to hang up. Oh, well, I appreciate it. I wanna say thank you for being so emotional and vulnerable for all this talented music. I really appreciate that, Kevin. That's really kind of you. Thank you. Uh, let's see. Giant poster. Hoodies are always great. Stickers and posters are awesome. Giant poster of everyone. Yeah, yeah, we gotta get we gotta get new photos because now like the photo on our social media, two of the people are in that photo aren't even in the band now. So like I said, I'm not a big fan of photographs. So um, but well, that's on the docket to do next year as well. But we'll do something. Um, Tank tops, flags, tank tops, bandana. That's interesting. I'm fat and love your music. Hey, I'm fat and make the music, so it's all good. Um, Music for a whole marching band. I've arranged for marching bands a couple times. Um, when I was a band director, I composed some music for marching band. Um, I've never, I've never like arranged any of my own stuff, but I actually have composed music for marching bands. I've actually composed music for wind ensembles and small quartets and stuff like that. I've never like published it or anything, but it's it's there. Let me see. If you had to choose, which song of yours would you prefer to have played as samples for context? I can share it around. God, I am so the wrong person to ask that, Bridget, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you wanting to share it around, but I don't know. Um, this is something that has kinda haunted this band for a while, and even when I was on good terms with Heaven Hell Records, like, Jeremy Golden would call me sometimes and just be frustrated. He's just like, "I don't know how to sell this. I don't know what to tell people this is because it's so kind of weird and nuanced and all this kind of stuff." Um, and that's kinda, you know, that's sort of the thing. Like, if you play The Nightmare for somebody, they were like, "Man, this is kind of a cool progressive black metal band." Then you say, "Oh, no, the song before that is this vibed out groove 70s sounding thing. What's the song after that? Oh, it's this very gloomy, doomy song. How about before that? Oh, it's got this folk thing, so it's a, it's a, it's just I don't know. I feel like you kinda have to base it on what the people you're talking to, which is a bad answer. Um, but, you know I think, Captive is a good example of everything we do because 'cause it's got some aggression, it's got some softness, you know, it tells a story, um, so, that could be one, or even, if they've got a longer attention span, maybe his name's Henry, um, but if they want more aggressive stuff or whatever, what's kinda neat is that we can tailor sets to whatever we're playing, so if we were playing with nothing but extreme bands, we can kinda play stuff like Confrontation and Nightmare and Captive and stuff that favors that, so I don't know, I would I'm so bad at this stuff, Bridget, I don't know what people like. I don't know which song is like a good, "Hey, this is what people should hear," because to me, they're all chapters in a novel. You know what I mean? So I know that's probably very unhelpful. That may be a maybe all of you can help Bridget out. If you had to choose a song of the Reticents to use as a sample, what would you tell Bridget? What Reticent song would you say is the one to show people? Um, I don't really know. Um, what was the song that you heard that made you wanna check it out? Um, so let's see. Lanyards. Had never thought of, but I can do that. Um, real quick to address the other merch things. Patches, that'd be fine. I have string bags, actually. String bags are on our website right now. So we have black string bags with a big Reticent logo on them. So string bags we already have. Um, Strawberry grape PB&J. Uh, well, I mean, I know a lot of people who are making barbecue sauce and hot sauce, which is something I did not expect. Um, but there it is. But drumsticks, guitar picks, sure. I mean, yeah, we can certainly do that. Um, yeah, we should do a poll for that. Because I don't know what to tell her, but um, Bridget, I'll maybe I'll do that. I'll try to survey people and say what is the song you would show if you were gonna let somebody sample it? What song do you think is representative? Um, so okay, let me back up. Um, who was the first band you saw live? Best band you saw live? Oh Jesus. Um, the first band I ever saw live was the Allman Brothers Band. Um, my parents took me to see them. That was also the first time that I knew what marijuana smelled like because it was a lot of hippy dippy people. Um, but it was crazy to me. Like I was, just this little kid wanting to play the drums, and they had two drummers. That was the most mind blowing thing I'd ever seen. Just oh my god, two drummers! How is that? That's crazy, and all this stuff. And they even had a percussionist on top of it, but they had two complete drum sets playing at once. Um, and obviously, I'm not old enough to have seen Dwayne Allman, but Dickie Betts was still in the band at the time, and was just killing it. And they would play these songs for like 35 minutes. I mean, it was just crazy. Um, so yeah. Then I don't know, best band I've seen live. I I guess it's probably Neurosis in '97, man, because they were pushing through Silver and Blood, and they had all these TVs and all this footage, like this live media stuff, and they were doing none of the banter. They were not doing the, what's up, Charlie? Everybody get your hands in it. Like they don't do that kind of thing. Um, and it was just so unlike anybody else at the show. Um, and it made me want to do things different. I was like, I want to do that. I want to affect somebody the way that just affected me. Um, so I don't even think it was like the most technically proficient. They had, problems or whatever, but it was yeah, it was cool. Um, let's see. Do I have beanies? No. We can figure out how much that would be. Make it pull. Have you thought about collaborating with sheet habits from merch releases? Okay. So if you don't know, I have a book that's going to be coming out. Um, not some big thing, just a short run little thing. But as an insomniac and someone who would travel a little bit, I would go to these. In my part of the country, there's a gas station chain called Sheets. They're 24 hours. They make made to order fast food, means flash fried, and it's a convenience store. And I would go there late at night or after shows, and I would just see sometimes just the weirdest things, this just funny instances. And many years ago, I started documenting that on my Facebook page. I would just write these long, like 8, 9, 10 paragraph stories about what I saw, and I would give people nicknames and tell the stories in this hyperbolic, humorous way. And I I started kind of collecting them, and somebody said, "And put this into a book." And I started putting them together, and I had like 20 stories, and across a good span of time, it's like 35,000 words of funny stories. And I know it's probably weird to think the guy who wrote the oubliette tells funny stories, um, but I think that's. I mean, oftentimes you'll find that like. He's sort of like how you might find like comedians or some of the saddest people. I think sometimes some of the saddest people can be some of the funniest, um, because that's what is that, tragedy plus time equals comedy or something like that. Um, so I'm going to release that, and that's going to be a kind of a fundraiser. I've got some medical stuff I got to take care of. My animals do, um, and I guess I can kind of tie it into some of this. Um, but that book will, I'm going to do a physical one. We'll do an ebook. I'll record the audiobook, and we'll make it available to everybody, so that if you want it, you can have it. Um, and since like I would record it myself and kind of outsourcing some of the editing and stuff, like we're gonna try to keep the costs as low as possible and everything. So when that comes out, if people want physical ones, they can get one. If they just want to listen to it, they can listen to it. Um, but yeah, maybe I kind of went back and forth on like when we go back out on tour. If I have physical copies of it, maybe the Sheet Happens book will be at the merch table or something. I mean, why not, right? Um, you probably need a laugh after seeing us play. Um, so let's see. What they say again? So, cool. Um, Eric Clapton. Yeah, my father was a big Eric Clapton fan. Christmas ornaments. Hey, I mean, believe it or not, I had a friend who she made reticent magnets for me and buttons um, years and years and years ago. This is before Latom was even out. But she had like a button making thing, and she made like hundreds of them. Um, it was pretty cool. Let's see. What about blankets for merch? I hadn't even thought about it, but yeah, um, could do that. PJ pants. Can you do some stories times with Chris? And that sounds weird, but you could totally do some Christmas stuff or even books on tape for any book. I bet people would love your voice. I don't know if I have the best voice for audiobooks. I can certainly try. As I said, I'm going to record my own, and I've actually put in auditions to do some audiobook stuff. Haven't heard anything back yet. But I mean, if people wanted me to read something, like, I mean, you could do that. Um, you know, so I mean, I'm definitely game if people wanted to do something like that. Um, so yeah. Um, all those are good. I didn't think of almost any of the stuff you just mentioned. So uh, when it comes to this is why I shouldn't be in charge. Uh, I should just write the music, and somebody else needs to run all this stuff. That's why we were better when we had some people that was kind of doing some of it for me. Because if you ask me like, "Hey, we need new merch," I'm like, "Okay, t-shirts, hoodies," and I wouldn't have thought of any of that stuff you just listed off. But I did think of the string bags, and we got those for Prog Power specifically because we thought, hey, that would be a cool thing to have because maybe people want to get merch from the different tables. They don't want to carry it around, so they could have a little backpack, something like that. That'd be kind of cool rather than just a bag of carrying. And we sold a couple of them, but we didn't know that like Prog Power was going to give out bags, so we were like, well, that's okay. Um, but yeah, let's see. You have the per. Oh, I appreciate it. Special Ooblet CD where the cover is a trap. Oh, you mean like the T-shirts thing? Trap door and inside. Oh, man, that'd be cool. Um, I don't know how much that would cost, but I'd be down. I used to love it when CDs would come out with all the special stuff, like Biohazard had State of the World Address, and they had the Biohazard logo in black on this orange packaging, and that was kind of neat. And Death Magnetic, Metallica had that the fold out was like kind of progressively cut in that coffin shape. So each page had a little bit more taken out of it. Um, and I mean, obviously, like Tool with 10,000 Days with the little stereopic uh, goggles or whatever on it, like that was pretty cool. So I would love to do stuff like that, but I'm sure that's out of the price range. But you know, fingers crossed, I'll keep playing the lottery, and you know, if we can swing it, then yeah, like trapdoor disc, and we'll do it all up right, for sure. See, being in school for marketing and management, that makes me think when it comes to marketing ones. Hey, I appreciate it. Hey, send us any ideas. I uh, I know nothing about marketing. Um, If I did, I wouldn't have said, "You know, it'd be a good idea? Let's make a super sad album about Alzheimer's disease. That's gonna top the charts," you know? Um, car magnets. I looked into that at one point. I don't remember why we didn't, but car magnets, that's a good idea. Toll had the Google things, the Alex Gray artwork. Oh, yeah. Um, yeah, all those are really good all, good ideas, I should say. Um, these circuit stuff, you can make all kinds of stickers. Well, I mean, I'm down to learn about all that kind of stuff. I don't know much about it. I know about music, all that stuff, but I appreciate all the feedback on uh what is the word I'm looking for? Merch. I couldn't even think. So I appreciate all that. Um, but is there other than that, like, is there anything else I can answer for you guys about anything new stuff or old stuff? Anything you want to know um, at all? I don't want. I hope I didn't miss something. I tried to keep scrolling, um, but is there anything else you want to know about anything that I can help with? Uh, let's see. Can we know how many tracks will be on each new album? So each album will have 6 songs on it. Um, there may be some interludes and stuff like that. We'll see. But there are 6, like, as far as, like, complete, fully produced and everything songs, there'll be 6 on each. Um, yeah. Uh, estimated time, like, of release of the double. So if you mean the new albums, um, I unfortunately, like, I can't say, and Jocelyn, I can't tell you what the release date would be because we don't have one yet. I gotta finish recording, and then Jamie's gotta mix and master, and I gotta get in line with everybody else because he's a busy guy. Um, so definitely will not be out by February. There's no way that would happen. Um, even if I won the lottery tomorrow and could just pay him and say, "Bump all your other clients," there's just no way we could get it perfect in that time span. I don't think. Um, so I don't know. It kinda depends if a label will kinda work with us in a way that we think is equitable and fair and all that kinda good stuff. We may release it through them and release them one at a time, like release one, then 6 months later release the second one. Um, or, if I do it, myself, maybe we do it that way, or maybe I release both at once as just like an A and B kinda thing. Um, I don't know. I know my PR guy would probably prefer it to be one at a time because that would be more spread. Um, so that's what it'll end up being. Um, so I don't really have a time frame for when it'll come out. Unfortunately, once we're in deep into the mixing phase, it'll be a lot easier to know um, what the time frame will be. But even then, like I said, if we have some interest from some labels or something like that, delays can come from talking to them, negotiating. They may say, "Oh, we want to release this during this time or that, or the other thing." I know my buddy Jared. He's in a band that just got signed to Nuclear Blasts either this year, or last year. I think it was last year, but they announced it this year. But they had to sit on their record for they had to sit on it for Jesus, like a year. Like it was done, like done for over a year before it came out. Um, which is just that's kind of the game. Um, unless you're doing like mixtapes and releasing stuff just independently yourself, um, many times you got to kind of wait on it. Um, so we'll just kind of see. It'll just depend. Um, you know, what was my favorite album of 2023? God, I don't know. It would be hard to say. I'll be honest, this year has been so hard for me, um, just through like all the stuff, grief, lawyers, blah blah, like all sorts of things that have been going on. Um, I really haven't been listening to a ton of new stuff, and that makes me a terrible musician and supporter of the art. But I just kind of I don't feel qualified to do that. I'm only just now kind of going back and listening to stuff. Um, Obviously, I want to say like all my friends' albums, because I have some friends and bandmates that have put out fantastic records this year. Um, but I know that's biased, but I don't know. Check out the Anchoret. Okay, prog album of the year. Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll definitely check it out. Um, let's see, Jimmy King is a god. Everything touches gold. Just recorded. Did you do for a project? It's mixing called Sunkeeper. Excellent, man. Didgeridoo. That's cool. I'd love to figure out a way to use didgeridoo sometime. The new records, we're using an oud for the first time, which is kind of cool. I can even show you if you don't know. So this is an oud, uh, Iraqi instrument. Um, Really interesting sounding string instrument. Mine is horribly out of tune because last time I played it was last year. But you'll hear this instrument on there. You'll hear some exotic percussion and stuff like that, which is going to be cool. I'm always excited to do that sort of stuff. Um, and there'll be some strings for the first time because last on Oubliette we had a wind ensemble. So this time I'll have a string quartet, which will be cool. And just like Oubliette, the wind ensemble is made up of my students. The string ensemble will be made up of my students as well. So um, it's exciting for me, like as a teacher, to have some of my kids on featured on records. Um, I don't know. I'd have been pretty stoked about that. Uh, Music industry changed so much. It's a shame. Yes, agree 100%, Bridget. It's very different. Any saxophone? Not this time. Um, there'll be some French horn, um, but no saxophone that I can think of for this one, which is a shame because I have access to a fabulous saxophone player who was on the last two albums, Andrew Lovett. He's an amazing player. And what's kind of crazy is the solos he's done. Like he would just improv. We just to do some takes, and he would go in there and just shred, and then we do another one. He just shred something completely different. Do another one, shred something else, and then we just kind of splice some of that stuff together. Like this was really cool. That's cool, and just kind of put it together. But he's just freestyling those solos. There was only one thing I think in confrontation and in the captive that I told him something like play this phrase or like end on this note or something like that. But other than that, I mean, he just goes to town. So amazing player. Violin, there's definitely going to be violin. As I said, it'll be a string quartet. So we'll have violin, viola, cello, and double bass, which will be cool. Have some female operatic vocals as well, which is going to be neat. So a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool stuff. Um, I'm anxious for you guys to hear it, um, and hope it will be, um, I don't know, satisfactory. I guess is the word I'm looking for. Um, but I do want to say, just truly, like I'm never going to be able to thank you enough for supporting this project, for being here with me. I didn't think anybody would even come to this. Um, so thank you for being here and talking with me. Means a lot. And I do apologize for the delays and and I haven't been you know quite right for a while, and I'm trying to work through it the best I can, and you know I I can't guarantee you're gonna like everything that I'm putting out, but it's as honest as I can be. Um, and so we're gonna keep going. As I said, we're gonna get back out on the road and try to get out to see you guys and play for you. And you know, I hope you'll enjoy it. But I guess if anybody has any other questions, I'll be glad to answer. But other than that, I guess we'll call that a stream. Is that I don't even know how are you supposed to wrap these things up? Comment, like, share, and subscribe, or whatever YouTubers do. Um, but thank you all again so much for being here. Um, and please be well. And I hope to see you all soon.